Content strategy is a lot more than copywriting. I do a lot more than copywriting at Facebook, and I think anyone who calls himself a content strategist probably spends a lot of time doing things other than copywriting. But what the world tends to see us as is copywriters. So I want to show you how we break out of that box at Facebook. But you may be wondering, hey, isn't Facebook really just all my content? Like the things I post and my photos and that dog picture and my wedding photos and all the things like that? The thing is, there's a lot more content on Facebook that you may not see because we've tried to make it as invisible as possible to get out of your way. And by the way, Doctor Who fans, don't blink. Thank you. Thank you for anyone who giggled at that. So here's an example of content on Facebook that is not user-generated. We just launched this as our new privacy checkup to make sure that you are sharing your content with only the people you want to share it with. It's a multi-step process that helps you manage your posts, the information you share with apps, and other experiences on Facebook so that you are in control. You know what's going on. You make the choice. Here's another example of content that is not user-generated, something else my team worked on. Setting up your ad preferences. You're also in control of the kinds of advertising you see on Facebook. This is a brand new feature. We just rolled this out a month ago. And this is actually a complex system where you're setting at sort of a database level, but in a way that's very easy to use, the kinds of ads you're interested in seeing. And there's a lot more. What we try to do at Facebook is to make our content as simple, straightforward, and human as possible so it's invisible, so that we get out of your way so that you can use the apps that you want to use or share with your friends and connect with people. So I was open with you about my view of content strategy and what I do at Facebook, what my team does. Now I want us all to be bold together, and build content as a system. This is what my team does, and this is how we focus on content strategy at Facebook, which means that we build content as a product with its own complete life cycle, with agile development teams that are dedicated wholly to the content experience, which means that we are building content experiences, immersive experiences. What did Rachel Levinger say earlier? She said, meaningful, interactive experiences that are not ambiguous. Our content principles are to try to make things as simple, straightforward, and human as possible. We'll be looking at some examples of that later in the talk. But we don't build content as campaigns. So my team does not work on press releases. We don't work on the blog posts. We don't do infographics or videos. There's a marketing department that does those things, but those don't fit under the rubric of content strategy at Facebook. We focus on content experiences as part of product design. So we don't do content as a campaign, even if it's A/B tested. So this was one of my big takeaways from Confab earlier this year. And it's something that, especially as marketers, when you're driving traffic, thinking about conversion, thinking about building brand perception, I think is really important to take into account. Michael Powers said this. He says, page views are not your goal. He says that your goal is your goal. And it's really easy to lose sight of that. I think we all get really excited when we see new tools come out, or new hardware, or new systems that sort of help us find shortcuts in our work, and we assign our thinking over to those tools. But a tool isn't a strategy. And a tool can maybe ease your path to your goal, but just getting traffic, just driving conversion, even sales, is not your goal in and of yourself. So I'm going to delve into more about how we actually handle content at Facebook. First of all, we see content as an experience. Who recognizes this system from the Lean Startup? Eric Ries. He says that the goal of a startup is to fail as quickly as possible. So what you want to do is go through this build, measure, learn cycle and repeat it as fast as you can, failing as quickly as you can in order to figure out what works. And when you find what works, you have what's known as product market fit. And so tons of startups go through this cycle. And we can apply it to the way that we build content. The thing is, Lean startup methodology focuses on something called a minimum viable product. That is the very least amount you have to do to find product market fit. But we think that good content has to meet your human needs. And because Facebook is so big and does so many things, we hold ourselves accountable to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Has anyone seen this before? Abraham Maslow? So he's a psychiatrist who came up with this hierarchy of human needs, from physiological at the bottom, the things you literally need to stay alive, to safety, love and belonging, esteem, all the way up to self-actualization, becoming your most authentic self and reaching your potential. These are things we take into account for minimum viable content, if you will, at Facebook. But the thing is, that's only for good experiences. Great experiences have to do a lot more than that. Because at the top of the pyramid for a great experience is joy. And we all use apps and content and see blogs and videos and all sorts of things every day. We're inundated. We consume so much content during the day, but how much of it actually passes that threshold to bring us joy? I'd argue that it's very little. So this is something we strive for in everything we do at Facebook. And to be perfectly honest, we do not always meet that measure, but we do try.